In fact, there we go. The countdown has started. And again, no matter what happens here, we will be finished and know who is, well, won't know who exactly. But anyways, you get the point. We'll be finished today, but hoping to finish out strong is what the point I'm getting at here between FiT and Team It's Gosu. So we now are at the blind band phase, of course, and it's going to be FiT on the Legion side and It's Gosu on the Hellborn. There you go. Tundra, all 3 games, blind band. Here once again, Ophelia Tundra for the Legion side, and then there's that Draconis Tundra from Team It's Gosu. So yeah, Draconis just absolutely dominated game 1. If you happen to miss it, definitely want to check out the VOD on that one. Just was way too much for It's Gosu to handle. So both the second and now this third game, they once again go with him being banned.
I think the problem is Draconis is very. He has extreme farming potential now, and he's very, very good late game as well. But at the same time, he also has extremely good lane presence. You compare him to someone like let's compare him to a Silhouette, who's also a ranged hero. Now, Silhouette's extremely, strong late game, hard late game carry. But if she gets gone on, yes, she does have an escape mechanism, but she doesn't have that spammable ability or just that utility that, let's say, Draconis has. He can spam, do lots of damage, also push you away, at the same time slow you to get away. He can also use that as an initiation tool for when someone comes around and stuns you.
Yeah.
So he's just got a lot of things to offer. So you can set him up as in a lane with heroes. You could set him up as a solo because he dominates pretty much any suicide solo. And he also farms faster than most heroes. So he's just extremely strong in that regard. So I think that's the reason why people are starting to realize his potential and either picking him up early or banning him right off the bat. Now the locks have happened. Luna Tempest Glacius. And Tini actually DC'd, so he's now connecting back in the game. Interesting. But yeah, Tempest Glacius coming out from Insania, as well as Silhouette and Master of Arms now coming out. I'd like to see some Silhouette play, believe it or not, come out, because I think that hero is very fun to watch.
Yeah.
But Dark Lane and Magebane's still on there. Draconis is banned. Nymphora is out on the board as well. I mean, so many. The interesting thing is now there's so many different heroes being picked up between Draconis, Fade. A lot of versatility going on. War Beast is even picked up. Wild Soul's being picked up a lot. We don't necessarily see all the same heroes anymore. I mean, it's not like,
right.
wow, oh my God, Pebbles is not even locked yet. What is going on? Or TDL's not locked yet. I mean, I think TDL is really, really strong. But now Wild Soul is actually locked, so I think we're going to finally see some Wild Soul plays. But my main point is that here people are trying new and different things, and it's very fun to watch.
Yeah, and Insania is the one to lock Wild Soul there. You're mentioning with, of course, FiT being on the Legion side, and both these teams do know that both of them actually love to run Wild Soul, maybe even first pick possibility out of that lock pool, but final lock there from It's Gosu. So yeah, you're right though. And again, initially with this lock picking mode, obviously, with the DreamHoN Summer Championships is where we really first got to start seeing it in true competitive play. Again, with this being such a huge tournament, $40,000 prize pool on the line here for this tournament overall. So obviously, all these teams taking it very, very seriously when it comes to it, and this is really the first major event with that mode. In the beginning, there's a lot of questions thrown around, what to expect to see from it. Obviously, it's still plenty more time before even more strategies are figured out and whatnot, but just as you were saying, we already have started to see a lot of teams adapt to that, and it has become a very diverse hero selection pool to kind of choose from, which has definitely been the entertaining part of it. So that's been a lot of fun to go through. As you mentioned, though, the banning phase has started, and in fact, we got Regidag, Jerizaya, Nymphora, and Parasite. We're now waiting on the final 2 bans to take place here, and Pebbles is still on there as a possible option with only 2 more total bans remaining. We'll see if either FiT or It's Gosu looks to ban him. Again, you would maybe believe a little bit more that It's Gosu would be the one to ban him if so, but FiT with their final ban, again, we'll see with who they choose. It is going to be Dark Lady, so now it's up to It's Gosu whether or not they want to ban that Pebbles or somebody else right here, so we'll see.
Yeah, Pebbles is definitely a very viable first pick. That Nymphora is banned there, so we won't see that Nymphora-Pebbles combination if Pebbles does go unbanned, but still very, very strong hero. And if they do pick him up, they still have a Luna there on that board in that lockpick pool, and they have the choice to first pick it if they want, and Luna Pebbles is just as strong.
Or even Glacius.
Yeah. So there the Pebbles ban goes, and there's a lot of options still. There's still a Bubbles. There's still
Poliwag.
There's still Polywog and Witch. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can pick here, even Demented Shaman. And they do go with the Polywog first pick.
Yeah. I believe they did it the first game as well, so nothing too crazy about that as you were kind of stressing on. But it's Gosu. They do. We saw FiT do it last time. It's Gosu. There's that Fade Mage main combination there on the board. So again, just like we've mentioned both of those heroes. So all through at least the first 2 games. We'll see if they come up this time around here for its Gosu. Obviously, Moraxis, he's been played in both of the games as well. And sure enough, being right-clicked there by Insania, at least right now. So at least talking to the team about it. And as Insania put out the point that it's the hero selection is more as a team than it is him specifically deciding. So it's always interesting to see how a lot of the teams do that as far as how the captain actually selects the heroes, whether it is more team-based or solely up to him, as it is on some teams that we know. So. But, yeah, they are right-clicking that more access. Of course, Magnus on the board. Wouldn't be surprised to see that. I'm still waiting for Berserker, man. I mean, I know Draconis and Berserker came out at the same time. And obviously, Draconis is already showing his power and definitely going to become a top-tier hero, if not already. But then Berserker, the one game that we saw him, I mean, he just wrecked face. It wasn't a losing effort, but he showed just how much damage he could actually put out. It was pretty damn crazy. And I've always been a believer since the very beginning when he first came out that he could actually be pretty impactful in the competitive scene. So I'm still waiting for teams to maybe get comfortable with him. But Moraxis and Forsaken Archer are actually the follow-ups here from Itsugosu. So.
Yeah, interesting pickups. I think that's a little bit too much farm early on, though. Kind of showing your picks early on like that makes it easy to strategize against it. And also, it's interesting, Moraxis has been on the losing side of each game so far. The first game, Tubby Chris played him, he lost. The second game, Sequence played him, and then FiT lost. And I think that's the same thing with Magebane as well. Magebane seems to be on the losing team this series. Not to say that these heroes are bad heroes, just a fun fact for you all. But yeah, Forsaken Archer, Moraxis, now they do have 2 supports in that pool. Now Behemoth picked. I love Behemoth. I'm just surprised he's not picked up every game because I think this hero is extremely strong. They do go with Polywog, but now Behemoth and Torture to follow up. I like that. A lot of stuns. I mean, very, very stun heavy and lots of push there between Polywog and Torture.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
That's the first thing that stood out to me. Just a lot of crowd control working over here on what is FiT right now. So, and a lot of team synergy for that matter. They have a great early to mid-game team already, depending on how they finish off. And, you know, especially knowing that, and what makes even more sense is, of course, with the Forsaken Archer pick over there on its Gosu, they can feel comfortable that they're going to get Silhouette, which very likely I could see happening here for FiT with that final lockpick even. So they could first pick, say, something like that Glacius or Luna, and then finish off with a Silhouette or even the Wild Soul if they feel that they can make a lineup work with that. So that also goes back to how Itsugosu showed maybe a little bit of information too early with that Forsaken Archer pick.
That's a very good point that you made. I mean, they can feel comfortable in not picking Silhouette here. That Itsugosu is not going to pick them up. Now, it doesn't mean they can't, but I would be very surprised if they do pick up Silhouette showing Forsaken Archer Moraxis. So yeah, Breaky, that's a very, very good point. If I were they have a lot of options right here, but to be honest, if I were them, I'd pick up Wild Soul right now. They would have so much push potential. And their lane setups would be very, very comfortable. They could do really anything that they want. They could do a tri-lane with Behemoth Torture plus X being, you know, Alduna, Glacius, or even Master of Arms. They could also do a dual lane with Behemoth and Torture bottom with a Suicide Tempest and a Wild Soul jungle, or vice versa, a laning Wild Soul and a jungle Tempest. So they have a lot of options, but I really think Wild Soul. They do go with Tempest. I think that's just as fine. I think either Tempest or Wild Soul really should have been picked up right there, because right now they have a lot of pushing potential. They still have late game with Tempest, which is very good. Polywog Priest Wards are so strong for pushing, and then just that hero was just so strong in general. They have a lot of options.
I think a Luna Wild Soul here. Well, that's what I was... Okay,
yeah,
so yeah.
Nailed it.
See, it's funny because I was thinking that, but then I also thought, like, that's a little bit risky because you already talked about Forsaken Archer, and yes, a little bit no shocker. You already talked about Forsaken Archer and Moraxis, a lot of farm required, especially early on in the game for Moraxis, and then you throw a Wild Soul on top of that. That's, you know, it's a lot of farm that's going to need to go around the table here for Itsugosu, so I wonder if that's going to be a big factor in it. So, but yeah, sure enough, that's what they finished with, the Aluna Wild Soul. Then you got, of course, again, the last pick, Silhouette over there for better looking than you. What do you make of Itsugosu finishing off with Luna Wild Soul over there?
I think it's really strong, actually, especially with the Andromeda pickup right there. Like, their team fight is going to be pretty damn strong, especially if Miraxis gets early farm. I think their lane setups have potential to be extremely strong. I'm hoping they do something like a Miraxis, a Luna, Andromeda, long lane, solo Forsaken Archer, solo Wild Soul. Be very, very strong. They could also do a tri-lane with Forsaken Archer and a solo Miraxis. That would be probably even stronger, actually, now that I think about it. Either way, their lanes are going to be set up very strong. They'll probably most likely go long lane with it because there is a Tempest in the jungle, so they can be more aggressive and put some, apply some pressure to him. Most likely from the Legion side, I expect to see a... Well, I don't know. Honestly, I think the smartest thing for them to do would be a long lane Suicide Tempest and some sort of a tri-lane with Silhouette here. I think if they are forced to do a dual lane long lane, they're going to get kind of owned. But, we'll see.
Yeah, it could be a Silhouette Behemoth Torturer trial, and again, Panty playing Torturer, definitely a support player, so you can pretty much safely assume that Torturer will be playing a very babysit style of role. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Polywog mid Tempest, long lane Suicide, and then seeing perhaps the tri lane.
I think if you're in the mindset of FiT, you got to be thinking that there's going to be an aggressive long lane tri lane coming out from its Gosu. So with that information in mind, you got to try to set up your Silhouette to be in a lane that's favorable for her. So even throwing a Silhouette mid or something, she's got to be able to be in a good lane. So yeah, maybe an aggressive tri-lane top with a Tempest solo bottom might be the smartest thing. But it's very obvious to me what its Gosu is going to do.
Yeah. All right. So now, as far as the information, or at least what we expect to happen, actually happening, we got to wait till we get out of the pause. Of course, it's Gosu, the one to pause it to start off the game, just like all 3 games now. But hopefully not too much longer, and then we'll be good to go. Apparently another quick bathroom break. As I still remember, that was like the first thing that I asked you as a co-caster. What is the deal with all these pauses?
Yep.
Well, apparently
potty breaks.
9 out of the 10 times it has to do with the potty break. So every single game, it's pressure, man. It adds up. And, you're obviously on Honcast here. A lot of viewers tuning in, thousands of people tuning in. Even a lot of these players have their friends and family, so want to make sure to be able to perform. So, gotta take care of other things there. Anyways, I'm kind of going off on a side tangent, but this is a big matchup once again. This is game number 3 here, and it's best of 3. So obviously the final game between Team It's Gosu and Better Looking Than You. FiT comes in 3-0 record. Team It's Gosu, they're a 4-1. But simply put, forget those records. Again, we're stressing the point that if FiT wins, very likely them and Complexity are going to be the 2 teams moving on to the quarterfinals from Group B. If Team It's Gosu wins, then it's going to be a 3-way race. It's looking like with these 2 teams and then Complexity as well for those 2 spots. So it's very, very big, especially for Team It's Gosu. Basically, almost really an elimination game for them. You could argue here, despite being 4-1, which is the crazy part. So, but that's the group stages, man. And again, as we stressed from the beginning and throughout this tournament. The competitive scene right now is just that freaking awesome. So, got a great series so far. And what was a crazy Draconis Game 1? We had the Tremble and Forsaken Game 2. And now we got Game 3 setting up to be a Silhouette carry versus the Wild Soul Forsaken Archer over here for its Gosu. And it seems like, again, both teams definitely going with what you would assume or hope to believe that somewhat safer or even a lineup that they're very comfortable with for both sides. So.
And Wild's also fun to watch. I mean, this hero is one of my favorite heroes in the game. Side plays him pretty well as well. He's got some good micro, and it's fun to watch. Now Tempest being played by Sequence. Yeah, again, I think that he really needs to be in a lane. I feel like with some sort of tri-lane with Torturer and Behemoth Silhouette probably be the strongest thing. But we'll see. And apparently, Aiden fell in his toilet. All right.
That's never too fun. You usually want to avoid that when possible. So, just having fun with the camera work here. A lot of people don't. I always get asked that question whenever I have fun. Exactly. How do you do that? I didn't know it was such a secret. It's actually the key right below the backspace key on most keyboards, I guess. The straight line. Yeah, you hold that down and you just move your mouse and you can do that. And you just press backspace to obviously reset it. So. For people that are curious about that,
that's pretty cool.
If you press F12, it takes away the interface, and then you can use that key. That's a thing that honestly we do have a good amount of fan-made videos that are made, but for people that just have fun, making movies or whatever as their own personal projects for video games. Obviously, a lot of games have that, including HoN. But the power of what you can do in HoN as far as like artistic wise and making it look awesome, it really is amazing. If I really stress checking that out if you haven't yet. As far as going into a practice game, messing with the camera, seeing the different things you can do with that, and it's a lot of fun. Anyways, that's gonna again another side thing there, but definitely check it out. So the game has started though. The laning phase is coming about, and we do see here FiT. They are sending that silhouette bottom with Behemoth and Torturer, so it looks like it is going to be that tri-lane bottom, Polywog Priest mid, and then Tempest, sure enough, in the Suicide lane up top, whereas it's Gosu. They do not go the aggressive long lane tri-lane. They instead are going to send Forsaken to Luna top initially at least. Now, Moraxis and Andromeda, or are they going to eventually go bottom with Luna down here as well? I don't know. We'll see, but...
No, okay, good. Now, you did help me with that tip. I couldn't tell at first whose courier was whose. Yeah. But, now, as far as this Tempest build, he is going to deny a creep, go back to the well, get some mana back, and then go back into the lane. But I would like to see... apply a lot of pressure to Boo Boo. He's going to try to get this pull. I don't think he's going to get it. So, success there from the Legion side. That's very important, actually.
Yeah.
But because now Boo Boo's not going to get that lane control that he wants. And they're going to be able to really get perfect lane control as long as they don't get double Archer in this bottom lane. That's so damn important. Okay, good. The Archers did not attack each other, so that's fine. So yeah, really good job there. They did not get the pulls warded from either side, so they should be able to abuse that. Andro being played by Sender up in the top is probably going to double stack that. It's even better that it's Wolves, because Wolves apply that crit and the aura, the damage aura to other units around it. So when you get that double stack, it's going to completely take out the creep wave that comes out for you. Now the double stacking actually did not happen from the bottom side because Zai is pulling the creeps there with Boo Boo, taking some pressure, but job well done, and he's going to get that creep wave pulled. And that's going to apply a little bit of harass there from Silhouette. And he's actually going to miss a couple of creep kills as a result. So we talked about it a little bit yesterday. And it's a very effective tool there, and so good job by Zai. There's really nothing you can do about it, though. You can only attack the bear so much. That bear has so much HP at the very beginning. Penny did a really good job getting it low. He actually does. It gets like 25 HP or something like that. So that's very unfortunate. As Zai says, mad.
Yeah, obviously some trash talk going on there, but yeah, it got very low, as you put it. Penny thought he was going to get the kill, but... Again, Imzai, as you made the mention of, he's a great micro player and showing it off a little bit right there of not only doing the pull, but keeping the bear alive and going to send it back to base to get some reach and eventually port it back to himself. So something I wanted to note, though, and this is actually pretty interesting, I never really thought about this, but this can be a benefit of sending a hero like Tempest to a long lane, actually similar to like a Wild Soul, where if it happens to be a matchup where he's just not going to be able to do anything, in this case against a Forsaken Andromeda, where at least he feels that he's not going to be able to do anything, he's like, all right, I'm just going to go to my own jungle. And that's what he's doing. He's just going to his jungle now, and he's just going to farm his jungle like he's a normal Tempest. Obviously a little bit delayed, but still going to be pretty efficient. Now, do you think that is actually a smart move?
Yeah, well, I don't know. The thing is yes, he's going to be able... It's like, well, okay, you can't farm up top. Well, let's get some farm in the jungle. Yes, that's great. But even staying up there to just kind of deny those creeps is helpful against a Forsaken Archer. It doesn't seem like a lot at first, but I would say for him to stay up top, they would at least have to have this main camp warded. Because even with the deny, he's never going to be able to compete with this Andro, abusing these pulls right here. Yeah. So actually some action here in the middle lane. The good Fisher stun coming out from Insanity. The stun from Torturer misses, but I think that Insanity will still fall in that Luna. And the Bloodlust kill comes out for Brobus. So I caught the tail end of it there, but good job there nonetheless. And the Bloodlust kill is going to help a significant amount.
That was actually really good attempt by both Insania and Chubby Chris too right there to actually make a save a Luna. It was initially a great Emerald Lightning stun onto Behemoth, stopping his fissure, and then Moraxis stunned Torture as he was running over to set up a chain reaction. It seemed like even for a split second there, Luna might have been able to actually get away, but again, it was just too powerful. The fissure stun ended up being a great block, and despite the chain reactions missing, it did force Luna to run forward in the direction towards the enemy team, which obviously is never really a good thing. So they got the Bloodlust kill, a great start right there. You do see again Insania making the mention of a little bit frustrated with the RNG right there. Wild Soul at the top, and the chain reactions will hit after the finish stun coming out, but not enough of a block. And Wild Soul will end up surviving. right there. So obviously Silhouette, she even landed the tree grapple, but just not nearly enough damage coming out.
Well, that was a first hit and tangle coming out from Boo Boo.
Oh,
and
that would
so
explain it,
that was really really lucky from
that.
Zai there. Actually, a lot of early pressure coming out from Forsaken Archer.
Jeez.
They're timing this perfectly with the Andromeda actually went, I think, 1-1-1. Yes, so Sender did go that 1-1-1 build. They're timing it. Ports are coming out there. This could be really, really good, though, for its Gosu, actually. Even if they get the deny, which they might get the kill.
Oh.
Elborn does get a tower kill, and Panty's going to drop. Oh, that is huge, and actually some aggression now coming out on the Behemoth. The volley hits both of them. Andromeda has one more stun in 1 second. Can he get it? They're going to pursue this Behemoth instead to get the for sure kill.
Yeah.
He's trying to get some juking out. Archie Tiger is sitting in the forest here, but I think he's going to die as Luna's up here as well. The Aurora comes out, spots some vision. And wow, this is massively huge for its Gosu. They get the kill while wasting 2 ports. Actually, get 2 kills and a tower while wasting 2 ports from FiT.
Oh my god. I mean, you were sitting there saying this, by the way, another take out the bottom lane onto Silhouette as she was chasing Wild Soul, but you were mentioning, I mean, it would have been good even if the tower got denied. I mean, because it made them use resources, a distraction, and putting them out there. But not only did they get the tower kill, but they also get 2 hero kills out of it. Out of nowhere on about Torture and Behemoth. So by far, just perfect. I mean, that could really not get any better. Seems like for KheZu and Team It's Gosu. And oh, by the way, KheZu's farm now, 520 gold per minute. We are just only 5 minutes in. She already has, well, I'm guessing she's finished her boost now, which it looks like they're actually being delivered, which is going to be Steam Boost as well as the Mystic Vestment. And they're just going to keep this pressure up. I mean,
Yep.
if you're FiT, you obviously, you can't let them get a secondary tower this early on in the game. So Tempest is already here with his minions, which are level 3. And he's going to push it back a little bit now. He does have a little bit of support coming over from Torture, but man, I mean, just the pressure being applied is ridiculous this early on. And look at all those items just delivered to Forsaken Archer right there. She's pretty massive for only being 6 minutes into the game already. How much does FiT need to stop the secondary tower push?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, this gives so much gold and map control there for the Hellborn side. But then when you really look at it, it's kind of hard to stop it this early on. Behemoth's only level 2. Stun damage from Fisher is going to do close to nothing. Panty's only level 2. They can't really afford to bring Polywog over in the lane because he's got to get those levels up in the mid.
Yeah.
And Tempest, I mean, he can only do so much, and that's one of the good things about capitalizing on a lane like this against the Tempest is that deny helps you push. So now he did go into the jungle, but still the concept is there, and that's just how important it goes really back to defending your pull, because they were able to get good experience on Andromeda. Like, Andromeda's got a good experience. She's level 4, which might not seem like a lot, but that's really good when you're up in the lane really doing nothing but pulling. So, yeah, it shows you how important pulling and blocking those creep camps are, but at the same time preventing the ward coming out from blocking it.
Well, you talked about Andromeda as well. A little bit of fight started happening, so it seemed like you went off the point a little bit. But you mentioned how he went the 1-1-1 early on. He's now 2-1-1. But what's so important about getting that aura, the dimensional link, early on?
Well, it's good. It's good. It adds a little bit of extra damage for a hero like Forsaken Archer. You know, you put the Ring of the Teacher active on, as well as if you time your pushes like they did with that catapult, or the siege creep, I should say. You coupled that with the strong damage coming out from Forsaken Archer with the Call of the Damned. He actually did level that up over the volley, which I agree with. It just adds a little bit more damage all across the board to both the creeps and the siege unit and everything. So it's just a really good tool for pushing.
Yeah. Oh, no. Forsaken Archer is going to get stunned here by Tempest, but obviously with the Luna coming over especially, not going to follow that up. Now, the tower is actually very close to deniable. It's at 189 life. Of course, needs to be at 160 for the secondary tower. So it is going to stay out of deny range now. And the lane's going to get pushed back actually quite a bit here. So this is going to be interesting to see whether or not that tower ultimately ends up getting denied or taken out by It's Gosu here in the near future. You do see that they are going to somewhat push. You see the auto attacks just happening from Forsaken Archer, not canceling it by any means. So, again, giving you the idea that they just really want to push this up and go for that tower kill. But like we're talking about, I mean, what can FiT do to stop this? How many resources do they spend in stopping it? Do Silhouette and Polywog Priest report down there? Can they? I mean, is it going to be worth it? And you would think if they do, they at least have to get 1 or 2 kills, if not especially deny the tower. And so then there's always that risk factor involved. But here we go. Very aggressive push from It's Gosu. I don't even think they have invulnerability, honestly. This tower is just going to fall. Yeah, I mean, we're 8.5 minutes in. The tower's dead. Now, we made a point from the beginning that the Legion team, you got Torturer, Polywog Priest, a Tempest. I mean, this is a crazy push team when you think about it. But our Hellborn side, and it's Ghost, Forsaken, Wild Soul, they too have a very good push team, and they're showing it here early on with that Forsaken Andromeda combination. I mean, Keizu is just off the charts, 475 gold per minute already. She has another 1,600 gold already saved up. Now, this isn't to take away from Silhouette, who has finished her own Steam Boots, and she actually just picked up a Helm of the Victim here. That's not usually an item you see early on, but it does, of course, provide the both armor and then the early health regen, which can be useful. And I'm guessing this is going to turn into a Whispering Helm.
Yeah.
But
right now, I mean, the lineup from FiT does seem strong, and I agree, it does look very, very strong on paper. But that got totally nullified by the fact that Wild Soul's able to pull creeps with his bear. And right now, you see, he's still tied with the top level in the game. And actually, he is the top experience level. Oh no, sorry, that goes to Tempest. Yeah. But very, very close by is we got Zion Wild Soul against that tri-lane with the top, one of the top experience in the game. And so it's a very, very useful tool. He's actually farming quite well. He's almost with 300 gold per minute, but a lot of that is because of the tower pushes. But yeah, this Wild Soul pick is just really, really paying off, and good job by Zai to pull those creeps when he needs to. It just really nullifies the fact that you have a tri-lane in this lane.
Yeah. He also did go the Ghost Marchers first on Boo Boo. I know you talk about that and that being a very effective, very powerful boots choice on Boo Boo, especially earlier on. So, of course, it prevents you from running into the creeps as well as heroes when you activate it and going through, and makes it a lot easier to be moving around, especially if you end up going that Mocker Brilliance, which, I don't know. I mean, actually, well, they are going to catch more access right here. The War Drive going to go out on top of the Fidget Sun. Now he will activate the Arcane Shield as well as his ultimate. You see the that rune going to be picked up right there. Oh no, it's an invisible rune. It's still there. Actually, more access. Not going to stay alive, though, as he just gets taken out the last second. And they were patient enough to keep the rune there as long as possible for Polywire Priest to eventually bottle it up. So very well played, actually, by FiT right there. An excellent catch on their part. I wanted to go back to Wild Soul real quickly, though. What do you think? I mean, usually Mocker Brilliance is that first item, but because of maybe this mass push that's working, do you think a Soul's Bulwark could be the better choice here?
I think definitely Soul's Bulwark is a better choice. Whenever you're in a lane that's not favorable and you're not farming that fast, I think having that early... Oh, wow, and actually Insania dies to the sequence Archie Tiger Panty Probusk. What I mean is there's a lot of heroes there killing Insania, so that's unfortunate for him, but... yeah, I definitely think when you're not farming as quickly as you'd like to be, that an item like Soul's Bulwark, which offers so much at such a very little cost, is more effective. Especially, it just synergizes very well with Wild Soul and his bear, and just his ability to push towers so quickly. Yeah, but if you're farming very quickly, I definitely think the Mach is a smart choice. But in this instance, he's basically against a tri-lane, so I think Soul's Bulwark is definitely the right decision.
God, already a Firebrand picked up by Forsaken Archer. Just 11.5 minutes in. The items that she has just absurd. They're going to push this middle lane now. Legion team will see what they do, if anything, to defend this. I mean, they are kind of grouped up around, but look at this very aggressive ward here between the two towers, actually in the middle lane. So it's Ghost, who has plenty of vision to work with, and they know that they're not even going to attempt to stop it. So actually, all five are here now. You see Wild Soul even joining the party in his ulti form, 1,400 life with just boots and 3 minor totems. They're going to keep always saying I love that. But Boo Boo joins the party as well, as he's got those Ghost Marchers. However, it looks like that they're going to fall back for now, as at the bottom lane, Silhouette was pushing it up, and Wild Soul decided to go up here to defend that. Now, speaking of Silhouette, by the way, they're going to steal these double-stacked Ancients. That's huge as well. Yeah. Forsaken Archer are going to be they attempt to LH. See a Minotaur even running in, by the way, who is being controlled by Jonathan Fan, as we talked about. That Whispering Helm was picked up. So they are actually going to kill them themselves, which is the good thing. But what do you think of the Whispering Helm pickup from Silhouette?
I think it's fine. I see a lot more people going it now. It provides a little bit more safety as far as farming in the jungle, when and it gives you the ability to farm in the jungle very early on because you have that lifesteal. You can also use a creep to tank any kind of neutral camps for you. And actually, he's getting some. He might get ganked here by Meraxis, who does have a portal key. He does not know it. The axes come out, and the stun comes out as well. The ulti is now popped, and actually the tree grapple coming out, but he actually goes to port, but ends up right in the middle, and it does not make you invulnerable when you port to that tree. Yeah. And so a good pop there from the ult to come out from Chubby Chris. Yeah,
that was great. You could tell what Silhouette was trying to do. I mean, she's trying to lure him one way, then port the other, but Chubby Chris, too, wasn't having any of that. So as you mentioned, a great catch on his part, and the double damage rune didn't hurt either for him. So very, very well played there by Chubby Chris, too, again on Meraxis. And gets the free kill onto Silhouette. So I mean, Silhouette was really the only thing here for our Legion team, just having a pretty solid time. And saving grace so far, but the death right there is going to slow her down by quite a bit. Granted, she still is over 300 gold per minute, which is very respectable, but you are dealing with a Forsaken Archer and even a Moraxis now. I mean, he has 400 GPM close to himself. He's got his portal key here, so yeah, he is scary himself. Something else I wanted to bring up, Tempest goes straight portal key, basically. He went Boots, Ring of Teacher, straight portal key.
I like that a lot. It's very scary playing Tempest against Andromeda for obvious reason. You know, the swap is such a great tool. But I feel like this is the surprise factor that they need, and I really hope he doesn't show himself here, so that the Hellborn team is not ready for it. We've seen so many games where it looked like one team was so far ahead in the lead, but then that Tempest comes out with the portal key, and then, I didn't know he had a portal key. I didn't know he had a portal key. That's what's said in Skype or whatever, and that surprise factor really, really can hurt teams. So if he doesn't show himself, I really hope he doesn't, he could set himself up for a very good ultimate. He might actually end up running into this ward placed by Sender here in Sania, actually. But no, he's just going to keep himself in the fog. So very, very smart choice there, and hopefully he continues to do that.
Yeah, it's one of those cases, so it's, how long can you do this for? Obviously, if it pays off in the end, then sure, but he's had it for now a minute and a half, and, still not being able to really use it, let alone farm too much. He's going to go into the jungle, and again, still being hidden here. He's going to farm up a little bit as he does some stacking for the team. We do see on the minimap, though, a lot of people heading towards that bottom lane. In fact, they're going to catch Forsaken Archer right here, so he does show off the portal key. In comes the chain reactions, and Forsaken Archer in a little bit of trouble. This is support going to get time. The swap from Andromeda. There's the Aurora we're going to be using. There's a piercing arrows on top. Down goes. That was Tempest right there. Of course, caught out, and the power throw to snipe out. Panty playing the torture on top of it, so adding insult to injury right there to finish it off. You see at the bottom lane, Wild Soul doing a lot of diving right here, but it's just a lonely Silhouette. She does have her illusion. But, of course, Wild Soul will be more than fine. In fact, Silhouette's the one that needs to be careful now. Think about porting out, perhaps, as she is going to sit here for now and even pick up a little bit more farm. But, yeah, that is really risky because now she's spotted in Cosmoraxis. And, Jonathan Fan, the greed got to him right there. He went in to get, I think it was maybe one more creep kill. And that completely showed that he was still there. They spotted him. He died. So
that was just horrible play all around. I mean, in the mid there, to show off your portal key like that for a very, very awkward initiation of Forsaken Archer was really bad to begin with. And then Panty actually missed his stun after the stun came out from Tempest. And then it's one of those things it's where, well, we've already put in so much time and effort in this. Just keep going. Try to get... No, if it fails, you got to recognize the fact that it fails and then back off immediately. But it's unfortunate that he had to show his portal key there because now they clearly know they're going to play accordingly. And then to top it all off, they get that free kill on Silhouette, which really was a kill that should not have happened at all. I mean,
he should have ported right away.
Yeah, that was just really, really, unfortunately, just kind of stupid play there. But yeah, that's just gonna make things even harder for them. And so many towers killed now down for its Gosu. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 towers compared to nothing for FiT. And that's looking really, really good for its Gosu. And props to them. They're playing very, very smart Han right now.
Yeah, they are, and obviously the game 1 went to FiT. Draconis doing just carrying the team all the way to victory. Game 2, different story for its Ghost. With some great trembling for Forsaken Archer play themselves, and now here we are in game 3. And you said, I mean, its Ghost is looking very strong here. FiT, they're getting almost desperate. You could say they're going to group up here and just as a team push this in. Now, will the Hellborn team be able to do anything about it? Let's see whether that's even denied, but. It's not going to fall just yet. You see the Elementals in the front line, so this tower is going to drop right here. Will it be denied? It's a question. No, it will not. Just too powerful push right there. And on top of the Fissure Stun, too much damage. In fact, Tempest jumps in. He gets a Glacial Blast, but is in the front line. Chain reactions will hit, but the Legion team does need to fall back. Moraxis, that counter initiation. In comes Boo, but Solo ports out at the last second, so going to be fine. Moraxis is now falling, and Tempest does have an ultimate. He's waiting for the right time, but he just cannot find it right now. You see Silhouette jumping back in, but Boo Boo is chasing with the Ghost Marchers. However, he will survive when it's all said and done. Now, there was a pick on a Torturer, so it ends up being a 1-for-1 right there between the two teams. So not too bad, actually, for FiT. As, again, they dig at the tower, and at least they got a kill, but...
They were so lucky. I mean, Jonathan Fan, it was a good job by him to get that. I didn't see his illusion out, actually, so I was really scared for him. So good job there porting that in the last second. That could have been really bad. But, yeah, and it was also lucky the fact that that War Trap was really good from ProBusk. It almost looked like he blinked in, but I think it actually happened after Moraxis blinked in. But that was just, again, some very questionable initiations from Sequence. He went in and blinked in and stunned on a Luna for no reason. I mean, no one else on his team was really ready. I feel like he's going into without even saying anything, because it seems like no one else is ready or expecting it. Just kind of some sloppy
Oh,
initiation.
Silhouette dead.
Coming in, and actually Silhouette, as you said, is going to initiate another. And Sani is able to snipe out the kill from somewhere else on the map there towards his own jungle. So unfortunate kill there on Jonas and Fan as he dies. He's now 0-3-1 this game with Silhouette. As the main farmer in this game, he had a very easy lane. Well, I shouldn't say easy. I mean, Zai did a really good job there. Zai with that amazing score of 0-0-0, but doing a good thing this game regardless. And actually, to answer your question, it does look like he's going to go for that first item mock. And I mean, his farm actually isn't that bad, so it's really not that big of a deal. Yeah. I just personally would have gone for a bulwark, but to each their own. I think early mock is still fine here.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't hurt that his team is actually in a very good spot here with that Forsaken Archer, 484 gold per minute. She's really been sitting around that mark for most of this game, actually. As the Geometer's main has been finished, pre-20 minutes, that is pretty damn ridiculous. She's going to take out triple stacked Ancients again, using the Piercing Arrows, of course, as well as a Split Shot, which is actually level 2. What do you make of that, actually? Because it seems like Forsaken Archer, for such a popular hero, her build is different from player to player. It really is. I mean, what do you make of that?
Well, I definitely agree early on with him leveling up that Call of the Damned in the lane that he was in. It provides so much more pushing potential in the lane that you can really abuse with that Andromeda going the Aura and then timing the push against one hero like they did, especially with a Tempest. But as far as leveling up his Split Shot, actually some initiation coming out from Wild Soul, and he will go down. It actually would have been even better if he was able to grip the Wild Soul, kill the bear to get the extra gold. And I think you actually would have killed him by killing the bear. Would have been some even more gold, but didn't want to risk that. So good job out there from Probus, because he's having a pretty decent game here. He's 4-0-1. But yeah, going back to the Forsaken Archer, normally I don't like to level up his Split Shot this early because he's doing not that much damage early on, so the Split Shot isn't really that effective. I'd rather have stats personally, but this is fine too, because by the time he hits level 4 Split Shot, when he hits level 14, he's gonna have some decent damage. So it's not the biggest deal. I just personally like to have some more stats because she is kind of squishy early on. She does have a Geometer's Bane and now Whispering Helm as well as that Mystic Investment, so she's not the squishiest in the world, but she can still get ganked. So yeah, I like stats, but I think this is a fine build.
Yeah, on that note, as you just said, going Whispering Helm. So both the carries, their weapon of choice here as far as attack modifier goes, at least, happen to be Whispering Helm with the lifesteal attack modifier. So interesting, actually. It is definitely becoming more and more popular once again, as you were saying. But to see it on both carries in the same game, not maybe as expected, but both are going that portal key picked up on Silhouette now as well. So she does have that tool, and like we see all the time, and that's nothing crazy, but it comes down to actually being able to use it to land those tree grapples is very important. So, but still, do you like the portal key pickup at least? As well, hold that thought actually for a second. Possible initiation coming in. In fact, Marxus jumps in, he gets Hex though. The tongue tied to fall, but that great red Aluno stun. There's a turnaround. Behemoth in a lot of trouble. Can he do anything before he dies? He ulties, but oh yes, it is enough to help kill Wild Soul, or Marxus right there. As Boo Boo will die as well, so Wild Soul will have to fall back. As he cannot recall the bear for another minute, actually. As Aluna gets caught here by the Morph in a little bit of trouble. Silhouette again has that portal key, but she doesn't have enough mana to use it right here. And probably playing defensive, the smarter choice anyways. Polywire Priest going to port out. He'll be fine. So despite Moraxis getting killed, the Hellborn team was still able to scare off FiT right there, as they did use quite a bit of course to kill him. So, and because of that, they may be able to apply a little bit more pressure here on this bottom lane. But still, FiT, they pretty solid fight for them. Again, they got the kill on Moraxis and not losing anybody.
Yeah, Archer Tiger was in kind of an awkward spot. I don't really blame him for using that ultimate. In fact, even if he didn't use it, if that bear was able to get like a lucky entangle on him, he probably would have died. So he's actually very close to his portal key as well.
Oh yeah.
So good job for him. Actually, also Moraxis did buy back right there. Right. Didn't really do anything with it, but they are grouping up and maybe pushing this bottom lane, knowing that the Polywog wards are down as well as the ultimate from Behemoth. And actually the Tempest ultimate.
It was used,
yeah. It was used as well. So they know that the big cooldowns were used, and so maybe they're going to use something with this buyback as they all group up here in the bottom lane. And Wild Soul, he does have that Sword of the High. No, he's actually really close. So if they get this tower, he will have that Sword of the High.
Yeah, and I don't see the leading team stopping this. I mean, Silhouette's farming the top lane while this is going on. So yeah, this is going to be a free tower kill. What is now the 5th tower kill, as you're stressing earlier. Granted, 2 tower kills have happened in favor of FiT, but still 5-2 tower kill advantage for its Gosu. 9,000 gold lead, helping to reflect that, as well as still the 2,700 experience lead even on top of that. Forsaken Archer, 1,600 gold more saved up after the Whispering Helm and Geometer's Bane again already finished. You talked about Wild Soul. I believe he just purchased the Sword of the High. So Maka Brilliance is going to be on the way for him. And Miraxis has continued to have a very good game himself, especially when it comes to farm. 340 GPM. He's got the Ring of Sork, the Portal Key, and another about 800 gold saved up or so. So right now our Legion team, Silhouette, again, she's definitely the key figure here, of course. But on top of that, really, this is one of those dangerous teams. And all through my Honcast history, I've always been a fan of saying, and I don't think that's really changed, that as long as you have a Tempest, if you get that beautiful Tempest Ultimate off, there is honestly still a chance. And especially in a game like this, sure, it's an advantage here for its Gosu. But you do have a Tempest. You do have great team synergy. You mentioned Portal Key on Behemoth is actually getting very close here. You get a solid Tempest Ultimate just long enough maybe for Behemoth to follow it up. You got Torturer, who granted is under-leveled big time, so that does hurt. But if you put it all together in those team fights, maybe there is that's where you would think perhaps FiT is going to have to shine here. But yeah, it is easier said than done, of course.
It is, and also, that is very true. You can always say, well, if we get one good Tempest Ultimate, we could still be in this or still, take the lead. But it's very, very hard against an Andromeda, especially if the Andromeda player is really, really, is very, very heads up about that and makes a point to stay back and not get crazy before that Tempest Ultimate. Because if you can have one lowly support hero like Andromeda counter everything that a Tempest wants to do, I mean, it's totally worth it. So all that Andromeda really has to do is stand really far away, wait for the Tempest Ultimate, and then do his job. Unless of course Tempest has a Null Stone, but that clearly he does not. Also, the other thing with the Tempest, it's hard to actually get the other team to group up if you don't have some sort of tank hero that everyone's going to collapse on. So like, say if Legion team had an Armadon, and he runs out here, or runs out in the middle, and the other team is like, well, let's just all go on him and kill him before because he's being so cocky and he's standing up there. Well, they all collapse on him, and then it's actually easy to get the Tempest Ultimate off. But you don't really have any of those heroes in the Legion team. You have everyone that the Hellborn team wants to go on. They're pretty much going to kill them instantly. So it's not like they can really wait out there. That's the problem with this team. They don't really have a tank. And I actually definitely think they need one in this case.
Yeah, very, very true, actually. I didn't really think about that, but yeah, our Legion team, they don't really have that going for them. So unless team it's Gosu, again, this is a very smart team, of course, unless for some reason they're just completely clumped up, and like I said, Andromeda perhaps out of position herself, then it's the chances of getting off that clutch Tempest Ultimate is very, 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 very low. So Maka Brilliance has been finished here on Boo Boo for Wild Soul, so that is a big item, of course. And speaking of Tempest Portal Key, obviously with that Maka Brilliance, which, by the way, Behemoth and Polywog Priest also have their Portal Keys now. So 4 Portal Keys here on the Legion team. That stresses the importance even more of that Maka Brilliance. I mean, the last game, how you could argue, or maybe that was the first game. But anyways, there was a Portal Key, and, we were talking about how Maka Brilliance obviously good against that. I believe it was actually Miraxis that had it, but when it was on Tremble, that's what it was. But yeah, Boo Boo obviously better with it for more reasons that you can send him in those front lines, not necessarily be as worried. But also with the 4 Portal Keys, yeah, that completely will nullify those as long as it's just in the radius of the Maka Brilliance, which has a 650 radius. So that is a pretty big deal. They are going to go for Congo right here. Now, not necessarily committing to it. You do see them kind of spread out, and you got Miraxis and Wild Soul all the way up here, as well as Andromeda. So they're playing it very safe here, making sure not to give too much of a chance. But now they're going to commit to it as Miraxis jumps in actually with this Portal Key. Now the bottom tower goes down, but they're not even spotted actually. It looked like the Legion team may have been aware that they were doing it, but I don't think they are. And Conger goes down, and Token of Life picked up on, I'm guessing, Forsaken Archer. Yeah, she has it all of a sudden.
Well, I think even if they did know, they should... I don't really think there's any way that they're going to win a fight at Conger in that open space like that.
True.
With all the farm that's on Wild Soul now, he's got that mock-up. And just look at FA, he's got 515 gold per minute, especially after that Condor kill. So yeah, they're not winning a fight outside of their base like that. That would just be suicide. So even if they did have an idea, they smartly did not go in.
Oh, they are going to jump right here onto Andromeda. Andromeda is dead. Aluna's getting picked off as well. This could be a time here for FiT to make something happy. See Forsaken Archer in the background. Will pick off Pawnee, though. The figure stun didn't help him in that sense, but still a 2-for-1 exchange. Legion team will be fairly happy with that. I thought that could have actually been better maybe if they were able to pursue Forsaken and Miraxis even, or even, I guess it was Wild Soul, but not able to do so. But again, at least it was a 2-for-1 exchange, so they got something there. But still a Token of Life on Forsaken Archer, and as you mentioned, the farm on him, absolutely ridiculous, continuing to do so. 1,400 gold saved up after finishing that Shrunken Head. It's just on its way to his next big item here, so. But the Portal Keys did show off a little bit right there.
Yeah, the items coming out from Keizu are just ridiculous. He's going to be a huge force to reckon with. Silhouette, she's farming almost 400 gold per minute, so pretty good. She's got that Firebrand. Probably going to go for a... well, she really kind of has to go for that Geometer's Bane after that Whispering Helm pick up there. Can't really mix the lifesteal with the slow there. I mean, I guess you could if you're really good with toggling your orbs.
Yeah.
But I've never really seen anybody do that.
Other than Symbol of Rage, of course. But
Yes, that's true. But he's farming decently. He almost got the Geometer's Bane up, which I think is... I don't know. It's okay. But it's still going to help him a little bit. But Forsaken Archer, I mean, you're never going to contend with this guy's farm. He is actually leading in experience, though. The Silhouette is, that is.
Yeah.
He's at level 16, leading in experience, but... I don't know. The gap is kind of closing a little bit, but not after that tower. Now they're back in about 11k gold lead for its Gosu, as well as the 4200 experience lead.
Silhouette ports back, though. She is going to go to the bottom lane for the time being, but obviously showing interest, realizing that her base is starting to take a little bit of pressure after pushing the top lane in a little bit. You see the creep wave is, in fact, still up there, keeping it pressured. But the Hellborn team, instead of over-pursuing or over-committing to a fight, obviously they're in a much safer spot here. They're just going to go clean up the jungle, clean up what is actually going to be triple stacked Ancients, perhaps. I don't think it's going to be now, but it will be a double stack, and they will be able to get it taken out. So they steal a lot of farm away from the Legion team. So obviously actually working out pretty well there for a team that's Gosu once again. So you talked about that goal. It is sitting around that 10.5, 11,000 lead here, especially with the tower kill. But here's a catch on a Forsaken Archer. She is going to Glacial Blast, but no follow-up. So she will be fine. I also like what Keizu's doing here with a Vulture Lord off to the side. That's actually pretty interesting. Keeping a Vulture Lord right off to the side. So I don't know if he has any plans for that, maybe to just push up. And that tornado, as a Cyclone, obviously can be pretty annoying to deal with. But I would actually be interested to see him actually take over a Skeleton King, because that can actually stop a Tempest Ultimate as well, even through a Shrunken Head. But
yeah, that'd be really good. That would require a lot of really good micro. And,
yeah.
That might be a little bit too much micro to think about when you really got to think about your position as Forsaken Archer. Now, he does pop his Geometer's Bane. One of the illusions dies immediately, and actually he's getting stunned up. He does have a double damage room popped up. He's hitting from below the on the low ground, but missing quite a bit. But that Boo Boo is doing so much damage. The Vulture Lord is doing some damage as well. The Tornado's out there in the front, and you see their Silhouette just wants to take it out because he's getting kind of annoyed by that. But that double damage Forsaken Archer, he's got that for another, 20 full seconds. So they're definitely going to get these racks. Actually, the what do you call that? The first fortification. Yeah, the invulnerability is coming out, but they're still going to get these racks.
Initiation, the melee racks is going to fall. So yeah, the Legion team not throwing a Panny dropping quickly, and Panny will fall right there. Now the Fissure Block, actually the Ward Trap on top of that, so Keizu in a little bit of trouble, but do they have the way to pursue this? It's not going to be enough. They're just not committing to it. But you got to give so much credit to its Ghost right there. The rest of the team, they didn't panic. They knew they were waiting for the Legion team to jump, and then that's when they would go. Because especially with that Token of Life and Forsaken, there was no reason for them to overcommit right there and then get clumped up as a result. So that's what the Legion team specifically sequenced, and I'm sure Archdagger were waiting for, but it just wasn't happening. So very well played there by our Hellborn side. And yeah, you saw Panty right there. Again, he's been in that support torch where he just didn't stand a chance against that DD. Forsaken, Null Fireblade level 2 finished on Forsaken Archer, by the way. So that is interesting. Not an item we see too often, but I mean, is there a specific reason for that, you think? Or is that just really a case of...
I don't think there's really any specific reason. He can purge a Silhouette ulti, I guess. Yeah. But... I mean, it's an overall good item. It gives you that huge purge, really good. And she's attacking very, very quickly as well. So the combination of the lifesteal plus the purge, plus the mana burn, it just does some overall good things for her. So it provides some good utility. Personally, I would have liked to see a Savage Mace.
Here we go. The real Silhouette jumps in. She splits up right here, trying to drop a little. In comes Behemoth. A little will fall. Forsaken Archer, there's our Tempest ultimate now. Andromeda does have the port. She's waiting, though, very patient. Tempest ultimate will fall. Of course, Forsaken Archer resurrecting. Silhouette's picked off. And here we go with the Nullfire Purge. Double tap picked up by Keizu. So I think it's Gosu very happy with the situation. And again, the trash talk once again coming out right there from Luna, as obviously making the point that, yeah, that was on purpose. I just totally baited you guys. We are going to see a pick on Behemoth as well, as Boo Boo was chasing him that whole time, and Zai got credit for the kill right there. So definitely working out very well there in the end for Gosu, and that just goes to show you once again the strength of the Token of Life. And again, I just love the patience over here. on Team It's Gosu. They're not panicking. I was waiting to see Andromeda whether or not she would swap or something, but she knew that he had a token of life, so she's going to come back up, and maybe, if then, we save for the swap. So, but this top lane is going to be completely cleared out here with both the melee and the range. So, FiT, they're down to really this bottom lane, if even that, but it's, I don't know if there's much of a chance of a comeback here for FiT at this point.
Yeah, I really think this game is over. Very well played by It's Gosu as a whole. Specifically, the strategy with Wild Soul is so damn strong. This is why I love this hero. Some initiation coming out, but Tempest is going to get counter initiation. The Shrunken Head popped as well as the ultimate just destroys Panny in sequence. Forsaken Archer doing some damage, but Shrunken Head applied. Doesn't matter. Polywog dies as well. Silhouette trying to do something, but she jumps in, uses that Geometer's Bane. She will go back to her Lotion, actually, but really well heads-up play there from Keizu. GG well played come out. Bloodbath coming out from Keizu to top it all off.
That means it's, well, it's not official just yet. The vote came out, but it actually hasn't passed just yet, so we'll stand here just a little bit longer until it does, of course, but it's pretty obvious. In fact, there we go. We'll follow through, and that will make it official. We have Team It's Gosu defeating Better Looking Than You 2-1. And as we stressed, that's a very, very important, because now what's happening is this does not only keep It's Gosu alive, but it's also gives them a lot better chance now of being one of those top 2 teams. Moving on here from Group B. Now, to stress as well, for FiT, on the other hand, definitely not over, but what this means for them, they need to go in next week and defeat Complexity to have a chance. And the chances of that, it's a very, very tough matchup for them, so that's made their lives very difficult because of this. But congratulations to Team It's Gosu. Obviously looked great at the series here. I
think, if anything, the win coming out from It's Gosu is going to make this group a little bit more interesting to watch,
Yeah.
Whereas if FiT won, it's kind of like, well, we already know the winners going in or going out of this group stage is going to be Complexity and FiT, barring, of course, they don't throw their next matches. But this makes it a lot more fresh and exciting, so I'm actually kind of happy for It's Gosu. But they deserved it. They played well. They were the better team today, and they ended up winning the series 2-1. And again, I really like that Wild Soul pickup. It did a lot of good things for them. It's a very effective tool, pulling the creeps up there as the suicide lane. And even with all that pressure that Panny tried to put on there, I mean, he did a good job there trying to apply all that pressure to kill that bear. Just simply wasn't enough, because that bear just has so much life in the beginning.
Yeah.
So well played there by Zai, but well played there by the entire team and Insania. Well played by the entire team and Insania to try to get that good draft up, and they did. So congrats to them.
Yeah, so that was you mentioned it with the Wild Soul play. That was definitely very, very interesting to see the control from Mzai right there at the bottom lane. And Jonathan Fan, obviously fantastic start for him in game number 1, playing the Draconis, just unbelievable gold farm on that hero. Now, granted, obviously as we talked about, sure with the empath and sure with all the double damage runes, maybe it was over amplified a little bit, but still, the hero is strong. I think that is safe to say. And It's Gosu, they did respond to that by banning him both the second and the third game, using a blind ban on him. With only 2 blind bans that you get yourself, it can be risky, but obviously that paid off for them. In the end, you got to give them all the credit in the world for that. And again, now they're moving on with a 5-1 record overall due to this 2-1 victory here. So their final match is going to be, I wanted to double check that real quickly. But like I was saying, I mean, they lost to Complexity at the very first match, as Insania was pointing out. Unfortunately, they probably weren't as prepared for it as they needed to be, but that's just because they're kind of a team coming together at that time.
Right.
But their next match is going to be against Saishi, who is a team, again, that isn't – they're kind of in the middle here of Group B. So a game that they should win. Not a free win by any means, though. So you need to be careful and obviously make sure that you get it, because – at this point, that will be their final match of the group stages. Now, so they need to win that. Definitely need to win that to really feel comfortable about moving on. Because if they lose that, then they're almost throwing their destiny back in FiT's hands, or Complexity's even. So win it and you're fine. So you got to be careful to not slip up there at the end. But they are now obviously not only staying alive, but actually now in a much better position about moving on to the top 2, as they are very deserving of. Of course, they've been very strong here. So, but yeah, that next matchup, man, now, as you're saying, especially now with FiT and Complexity, that makes it even that much more important. And we get to see Complexity again, which is fun, of course.
Yep.
They're your old team there, so I'm sure you're excited for that. But the viewers obviously seem to love them for good reason, and that is going to be a lot.